Hello, guys. Welcome back to D&D and Things. I am your host of most things, most days, Trevor HHP, also known as Rob. Joined with me is my lovely Rosa Dream, also known as Jen. We have done a Thingz Talkz before. If you haven't seen the Thingz Talkz, go check them out over on our YouTube. I apologize. We're having a little bit of a technical difficulty right now. Oh, looks like it's... There we go. It's in now. We do have the dice set up. Maybe. Maybe not. I'm not sure what's going on with that.
You have to hit go live on that one.
Oh. Do we? Shouldn't. No, because it's technical difficulty right now. No, that's not what it is.
Now it looks like it's moving, kind of.
Yeah. Sorry guys, we're trying to get things. That one might just have to have a little bit of delay. Maybe. Maybe.
Today's talk.
Oh. Yes, we are having... I forgot to do some stuff. We are having... we're just gonna... I forgot to do some stuff. We're just gonna do this. We're just gonna do that for today.
Okay.
So, we haven't done our talks in a while. You can see that we have the dice tray set up over here. That is because we have new dice. I have new dice. If you haven't already, go check out our other videos. We have a couple other mystery dice openings. So go check those out. Some are done by me. Some of them are done by Rosa. She's got somewhere around here her bag of devouring. There it is. She's got her giant bag of devouring. Awesome. Giant bag of devouring. Thing done by WizKids. We are not sponsored by any of the people who we're talking about yet today. If you haven't either, please go check out our Instagram and our Facebook and our Twitter. We have a new mascot featured. Her name is, well,
Thingzy.
Their name is Thingzy. Thingzy's an androgynous pixie. So it's not a he or a she. They are they, them. But Thingzy is our new mascot. You will see in our banner and in our logo, Thingzy. She's a little pixie with a wild hairdo, lots of purples, lots of bright colors. She's fun. We're going to work on making some stories to go with her as well, and advertise her adventures. We thought about letting Mr. Scotty join us today, but he decided that he's still going to be a kitten and get into everything. So you won't see Scotty running around. We decided to play some of our tabletop games behind us. Unstable Unicorns, if you haven't played that before.
You need to.
Lots of fun.
You need to.
Absolute blast. Great party game. Then we got Voodoo Dragons, which was my Christmas gift.
Yep.
Really fun game based off of Dungeons and Dragons. Over on this side, we have Betrayal at the House on the Hill. If you haven't played that one, it's changes every time, and it's kind of that classic go into a haunted house, not knowing what you're going to find, and then you find out someone led you there and betrayed you. And then we just have one of the girls' unicorns hanging out because I'm outvoted, and this is unicorn heaven. This is a unicorn safe haven. And then joining us over here, I don't remember what she was named, but that was a gift.
I don't remember what she was
named. That was a gift.
I think it was like sparkles or glitter or something like
that.
Yeah. This was my Christmas present from his daughter. And oh my god, that kid is amazing. A pink narwhal, come on.
So I think what our plan for tonight, those of you who have been following us will know that Jen just started playing D&D. We had made her one character for the normal campaign that I played, but the DM for that at the moment had to take a hiatus from playing. He's not playing right now. It looks like we may have some lag on our other one. I apologize on that. I do a lot with my hands, so don't mind me. Our DM for that needed to take a hiatus because of his work. So one of our other players stepped up to DM for a while. So we made characters that backstory goes together. So tonight, what we're gonna do first is I'm probably gonna open up the new dice, so we can take a look at that from Skull Splitter Dice. If you haven't checked out Skull Splitter Dice, go over and check them out. They're really awesome guys. Their customer service is on point. They're fantastic. Check out my other video. I'm gonna clear out the dice we have here right now. I just wanted some dice there. Pulled out already because we are going to talk some dice. We'll probably get another awesome Skull Splitter thing. So we'll start here. Obviously, always fun. We haven't done opening together yet. So, let's see here. What do we got? We got some. We got the packaging info. I'm not going to show that on cam because I love you all, but you don't need to know where we live. I love you all. We got the nice little card. Let's see. Which one do we want? One of these, we'll get it. Maybe. There we go. Skull Splitter Dice. Their little business card. The last time they sent a couple different stickers as well. I'm not sure if that's going to be in these sets. Stickers as well. I'm not sure if that's going to be in these sets. We automatically did those were nice. Which one do we want to start with? We automatically did okay. So we're going to start with this nice blue set. Really, these look like they're acrylic dice. In a little bit, we'll get into the differences in dice. If you've watched some of our other openings, they're a little bit of shorter videos, but we wanted to do a Thingz Talkz. So let's get these dice out. Those feel really well weighted. Definitely acrylic. So they're a nice, let's see, where's the D20? Because the D20 is always the best. So there's this nice, maybe, okay, let's try over on this camera. If it loads, okay, there we go. Pull it down some. So we got this nice, like, blue swirls. We'll get some pictures up on our Facebook too, or our Instagram as well. It's a blue and white swirled acrylic set. Very nicely weighted too. Acrylic set. It's got like a light off-white. It's almost like an aqua blue and a sky blue. Off-white. It's kind of mixed together.
Those are really pretty.
Really, yeah, really pretty. Really well weighted. Those ones look like they're acrylic sets. Skull Splitter Dice also, if you sign up for their packages, they remember which sets you got already, so they won't send you the same set twice. Right. This other set looks like it's more of an enamel set. It's a nice shallow. It does look like there's some bubbles in some of these. So it's not necessarily...
Is that what causes
it's air bubbles that get in there. It looks like the D6 is the biggest culprit of that. But we'll go ahead and set those here for you guys to see real quick. I think this is actually the best way to see the dice from what I'm telling. Yeah. So, and again, we'll take some pictures and put them up. They're definitely more of an enamel, but they're very nice, see-through, very nicely, for the most part, poured. It just looks, the only one that I'd have a complaint on is the D6, because there's definitely, you can see there's a bubble in there.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if I can show on the camera. I think this camera has been the best. It's not entirely, yeah. You can almost kind of see the bubble in there. But I'm getting 2 sets every month, so it's not like, definitely we'll use that. This one will go go into the bag of holding
Yeah.
and be added to that set. And then we have the mystery bag. So the mystery bag comes with a nice little dice bag. In here there's one full set of dice. I believe that this one's a random metal dice. And then a couple other random dice. So we'll go ahead and open this up. That's what this should be. So we should have some random dice there, which it looks like we do. There's a full set of dice and a random metal dice. And I love the skull splitter bags. They're a nice velvet bag. They've got nice drawstrings to them. So we'll start with, we got again another full set of dice. These ones look like they're black. It looks pretty awesome. A metal dice. Rather simple metal dice, but we'll get to that. And we'll start with, ooh, nice. So the skull splitter dice, the one of the randoms of the D20, has the skull splitter logo on the 20. I don't know if I can catch that. Again, we'll see what we can do to get some pictures of that, but yeah, that's got the skull splitter signature on the 20. A nice simple black percentile D10. A nice enamel with a black swirl on a D10. This one I think I might end up losing because it's a D4 with a nice purple swirl. Although someone doesn't like the D4s.
No, they're evil.
And awesome greenish D6 with some sparkles in it. So aquamarine-ish color.
It's got glitter in it, but it looks like there's some like bigger chunks.
It might have some
something in it.
bigger chunks of glitter in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's got just speckles of like a golden glitter of random chunks in it. The gold numbering and the 20. Then it's a metal D6. So this particular pack of dice doesn't guarantee that's a D20, which is okay because I think I have 4 metal D20 now.
Yeah.
4 or 5 metal D20. I just like the way that the metal dice are made. The nice thing about this metal dice is the corners are actually rounded, which you don't always get with some of the other metal dice. So yeah, so this one's my normal go-to D6. Has very sharp edges and corners. That one's got the rounded. So it's kind of nice to have the rounded corners. So and she's still holding on to those blue dice. Yeah, we'll get there. Okay, and finally we'll slide these guys over some. I do like that D20 though.
Yeah.
Our last set's gonna be similar to that blue set actually, but more black. This is like a shadowy black. So we got this like shadowy black color. Sorry, we're still trying to figure out the best way to do some of these. I normally do my openings of the dice in another room, and the lighting is a little different back there. So I'll take those. I'll let you check out those. So there's the full set of those. So those are definitely enamel dice. More of an enamel. So I think this is a good spot to. Again, those are all dice. All these dice that we just opened come from Skull Splitter dice. If you haven't checked them out before, go check them out. They're definitely make great quality dice. This particular, what I get monthly, they have a couple different options for random dice that can be sent to you. They have I get it monthly, but you can do it weekly. You can do it bi-weekly, or you can do it monthly. And so I get 2 random sets a month, and then the mystery bag. So I know the 2 random sets are going to be 2 random sets, 7-piece sets. So 7-piece set is a D4. So the little triangle one here. Then you get a D6, which is your standard dice. A D8 is like a pyramid-y, kind of a double pyramid stacked on each other. A D10, which is kind of more of a rounded pyramid. A D10 that's a percentile. So this one just has 1 through 0. The percentile one has 10 through 00. Then a D12 and your D20. And your D20 is your standard, the die you roll the most. So you get, just in the normal sets, you can get anywhere from like 2 to 10 sets, I think, every week, 2 weeks, or 30 days. So it's up to you how many dice you want and how much of a dice goblin you want to be. The other sets that I get, it always comes in these nice skull splitter dice bags. You can see I already have one. This is my main set of dice that I use when we play. So you get, in that set, you get a full set of 7 dice, a random grab of dice, and 1 metal dice. Random metal dice. Some of the other random sets we got were about the same. They give you, I think, Skull Splitter gives you about 5 dice. Dark Elf gave you...
It was 10 random
10
dice.
Random dice, and it was almost guaranteed that you'd have another set of dice, full set of dice, but they didn't all match. They're mixed and matched. And then their metal dice was a guaranteed D20. So I kind of like getting the random metal dice. I think I'm the only one at our table. No, I'm not the only one at our table. Well, right now I'm the only one at our table who consistently uses metal dice.
Yeah.
Our normal campaign, one of our other guys uses metal dice, but we have one player who's very adamant that metal dice don't roll very well, and so he doesn't like to use the metal dice. So when he asks for any amount of dice, because Jed and I are the dice goblins of our table and have the most dice. Well, Mark has a good amount of dice too. Todd has a decent amount of dice as well, but he has the ones that he uses. He has a bunch of extra D6s. And then if he needs something else, it's normally we have the combination of these 2 bags of dice that's ever growing. So our collection continues to expand, especially since we're getting more dice. So one of the things that is a topic of conversation when you're coming into playing D&D, one of the major tools that you need is dice. Now, granted, most tables you go to, if you don't come to your first session with a set of dice, you're okay. Someone probably has an extra set of dice, or will let you borrow their dice for whatever you need. But generally, if you're coming to the table to play D&D, there's 2 things you're bringing with you. Your character, which includes his or her character sheet, and your dice. And so, obviously, we have a lot of different dice here, and it can be overwhelming looking at dice. Jen's new to buying dice, so what was your experience going and looking for dice?
I got distracted by shinies. Like, some of them are so pretty. Like, especially in the mystery set that I got from Dark Elf with the puzzle pieces.
And I think my one metal set you liked.
My
purple set that I got from my little brother, who's also a D&D player. So to get a set of metal dice, because there's a good from enamel dice to acrylic dice. There's a little bit of a price shift. So for enamel dice for a decent set, you're probably looking at about $8 for a full set. Where acrylic, you're probably looking a little more at $12. But when you go to metal dice, you tend to jump up to about $25. At the lowest for metal dice. Yeah, so you've got when you talk about metal, the comparison. Now, of course, how they're made, acrylic dice and enamel dice are made pretty equivalently, but I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah.
So you were
distracted
by pretties.
By pretties,
So
I was like, oh, I can just use any set, and then it was like, the more sets that I was getting in and seeing from different companies, and right now my Instagram feed is literally covered in different kinds of dice and just what people can do. It's almost like, glass blowers. They're so original and so unique, and no wonder they're selling these sets for $50, $75, but they're one of a kind, they're not mass produced. And I think, that is a piece in itself. Like, I would love to own some of the sets, but there's no way I can afford $75 for a set of dice.
I mean,
like,
if you guys want to give us the money so we can buy and review dice, we won't say no.
Right.
But that is not necessary.
Yeah. No, and that is not necessary. Like, it's just it's nice seeing, what other people use, you know what I mean? Because there was one set that you had that was almost a plasticky. It was just it felt like something that you would see in games.
Sorry guys, that was my fault.
Yeah, it was like something you would see in like a regular board game, like a cheap board game.
Well, I mean, if you look at this particular dice, it's black percentile dice. But it's kind of just that plain black, white lettering.
Yeah.
It looks like it would come from a board game. Yeah. Sometimes you get the D6s that are very, very just one solid color with white lettering. But of course your D6 is your standard kind of dice.
Yeah, but no, it's kind of cool though seeing I like the mystery aspect of it as well. Like, the mystery bags, I think, are pretty
What
cool.
am I going to get? One month, you might get one that's not as up your alley. I think, like I said, these yellow ones, not that they're not nice.
Yeah.
They're just...
Yeah.
They'll get added to the collection, and they'll probably get pulled out and used every once in a while, but... I can definitely tell you that blue set
is very pretty.
It's a very nice set. But again, enamel to acrylic, not a whole lot. One of the first things I did when teaching you about dice is I have every kind of dice.
Yeah.
So I pulled out one of the WizKids makes really nice. They're nice dice, but they're very definitely mass produced.
Oh yeah.
So they're they're the enamel dice. So if I pull out a bunch of dice from here, they're going to mostly be enamel dice. The nice thing about enamel is it's clear. Mm-hmm. So you can do swirls in it, and you can put glitter in it, and you can see the glitter. Now sometimes that glitter does affect the weighting a little bit, but enamel dice are so light that the weighting is not really an issue to begin with. Mm-hmm. Acrylic's a little heavier because acrylic's just a little bit of a heavier substance to begin with. It's still a plasticky type of thing, but the weight's a little better. They roll. Acrylic dice definitely roll a lot nicer. I turned it off. What?
It doesn't look like there's any sound.
Tell me there's no sound. Yeah, there's sound.
Oh, okay.
It's just the whole way
farther down.
Yeah.
Sorry,
guys. Sorry, guys. Oh, we may have been getting 2 sounds too because of that. I hope so. We apologize if we are getting, if we were over. We're still figuring out our setups. Thingz Talkz is still one of our newer shows. Some of our other stuff we've been doing for a while, so we've got things taken care of a little bit. If there are issues, please let us know. If you're joining us, please hop in our chat on Twitch and join the conversation. We definitely want to see your dice as well, if you're using dice and have your favorite. My favorite's my metal dice. I lean towards my red metal dice that my sister got me for my birthday. But I also throw in my purple dice for my little brother. Again, for me, it was a surprise, not this past Christmas, the Christmas before, to open up a gift for my little brother, who's also a D&D player, and it's metal dice. Of course, he told me after the fact that he bought himself a set too.
Yeah.
So he didn't feel as bad buying me a set and giving me a set because he bought himself a set too. But we love my little twerp of a brother. Yeah. But he's a D&D nerd too. But again, the dice is really up to your preference. I have one metal dice that came with my last batch of Skull Splitter dice, I think. Yeah. Yeah. My silver with red lettering that rolls really well for me, although not so much today. Yeah. Not so much today, but it normally rolls really well for me. So that's been my go-to one lately. But I like to use the metal dice. I just like how they feel in my hand. They do require you to roll them a little more in your hand. And that motion is the rolling motion, but it looks bad. Yeah. But it requires you to roll a little more in your hand before you release because of the weight of metal. They just
kind of fall.
Yeah. Where the acrylic and enamel, when you roll it, it will roll and they bounce around the table a little more. You'll notice that we have a dice tray. We use the dice tray during our games. One, it keeps everyone accountable. Two, dice aren't rolling all over the place. Yeah. One of the things I would like to get eventually is a gaming table that's inset so that you can just roll into the table and it's all good. Yeah. So that's dice. I don't know if there's anything else for dice.
No.
Lots of places to get dice. I think our favorite places to go right now are Skull Splitter Dice and Dark Elf.
Dark Elf, yeah.
Dice.
Yeah, I am still getting the D20 Collective. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't overwhelmed with the purchase from them, but I'm still gonna
give
them a couple.
We're also going to look at other places that do the mystery dice. We like the idea of the mystery dice. So we're going to try out a couple different subscriptions here and there. I'm definitely sticking with Skull Splitter. At least I may take off the 2 random sets for a while to go and try out other mystery bags. But I'm definitely sticking with the Skull Splitter mystery bag. Yeah. One, I love their logo. Yeah. I love their little bags. I love their customer service. They're great. Again, we are not sponsored by anyone. No. But check out Skull Splitter Dice. Check out Dark Elf Dice. Check out D20 Collective. WizKids has dice. WizKids, we should actually, I think, probably this month be getting another loot crate bundle. That's my 3 random kids. They're WizKids games. So WizKids does a lot. They do miniatures. They do dice. They do. WizKids has a lot of good set that you can get a lot of dice for a really good quality, like cheap price. Yeah. I think you spent $30 and got
the bag
20 sets and a bag. When I first bought a bunch of dice, I got a pound of dice from WizKids for like $15 or something like that. Like, now my bag was a gift from my dad. that has some other stuff in it that I've converted into my dice bag because it works really nice. You don't have to have a dice bag. For a while I was using little plastic containers that I got for like $1 at Walmart. Lots of people use dice bags. It's just easier to kind of grab out of your bag and go. But you have lots of options. I think what we both do is we have our big dice bag that has a lot of stuff in, and then our little bags we'll put in some of our favorite sets.
Yeah.
Some people like to pick out dice because they go with the character that they're playing at the moment.
Yeah.
I know when I'm picking out my extra dice. So when I sit down at the table to play, I have one full set of 7, which is normally one of my metal sets. I have an additional D20 because for those of you who know D&D, you get advantage or disadvantage. Mm-hmm. For those of you who are new to D&D, because what's nice about our show, and we talk about D&D, Jen's brand new.
Yeah.
I've been playing for about 2 years now. I've been playing for 2 years this month.
That's pretty awesome.
Now, I've only played 5e. Our table that we play at, we have 2 gentlemen who have been playing D&D since advanced D&D in the 80s.
Yeah.
Our normal DM started with 3.5.
Okay.
And played 3.5 in Pathfinder. Most people don't acknowledge 4 as an addition because 4 was more like a tabletop game.
Okay.
The way that they set the roles. 5e is what we play in. We'd love to hear your thoughts on 5e. I know some people don't care for it and still play in 3.5, but some people prefer Pathfinder. I do know in this last year, Pathfinder was starting to work on their 2nd edition, so that's awesome. Some people like other tabletop RPGs, like one that I'd like to try sometime is Vampire the Masquerade.
I'm so sorry. I'm going from 3rd shift to 1st shift.
We're working on getting Rosa switched over to a new sleep schedule.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Don't mind her.
Don't mind the aunts. I swear I'm not bored. I'm actually very enthralled in this conversation. My sleep has been so messed up.
Yeah. But we're happy that she's on first because it means we'll be able to do a lot more with our channel.
Yeah.
I know it poses some complications because we're now both available to stream at the same time.
Yeah.
But
instead of me at 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah. But we're going to be working on a schedule and be getting you guys more consistent content, which I think is better.
Yeah.
So I lost my train of thought. Oh,
5e and Pathfinder.
Yeah. So there's different types of those outside of D&D. I know I want to try Vampire the Masquerade, and then there's Cyberpunk, because the new Cyberpunk 2077 game that anyone who's been following us knows that I've been playing pretty frequently, is based off of a tabletop game called Cyberpunk, and the guy who developed it had helped with making the game.
Yeah.
And so, veering off to be more about our D&D campaign and characters, some of you might notice my outfit. It's a little eccentric. If I move up a little bit, you'll see like it's very steampunky with gears and stuff. We are currently playing in the Eberron setting for the current campaign we're playing right now. Eberron's a lot more Arcana punk is what it is. Okay. So very kind of similar to a steampunky like variant. More of steampunk except with magic, if you want to think of it that way. So we're in the Eberron setting, and when we had to create a character, I think I saw in your head I have no clue what the fuck I want to do.
Yeah.
I was like, I just made a character to join the normal campaign.
And now I have to start
I haven't gotten to use that character yet, and now I have to start all over.
Yeah.
So I had, for a little while, thought about pulling out a little satyr that I've got brewing up to play in this campaign. But one of the problems with that is that this campaign now, our normal campaign, all books, source books, even some of the UA and some of the homebrewed stuff we're allowed to use. Our current campaign, we're only allowed to use the player's handbook and Rising, the Eberron source book.
Yeah.
So those are the only two books that we're allowed to use.
Yeah.
For character creation. So satyrs aren't in that book. Satyrs are in the Thanos book, or not Thanos. There's a campaign book that's very Greek oriented. So satyrs are in that source book. And we can't use Tasha's. And the subclass of Ranger that I want to be is in Tasha's.
Yeah.
So I can't really use that character anyway. So the satyr got put to the side. So I had been brewing up ideas. And there's an idea that I've liked for a long time, but I've never had someone who I've been close enough with to do characters whose backstories and stories kind of mesh together.
Right.
And I've loved the idea of having an artificer. Artificers are tinkerers. They work with... They're kind of magical tinkerers. They make things and imbue magic into them and are kind of really fun. I love the idea of having an artificer who has a Warforged companion. For those of you who don't know what a Warforged is, they're a robot.
Yeah.
So I had this idea of having basically this artificer who's a little paranoid, a lot of paranoid, kind of eccentric, who has a Warforged protector. Yeah. Whether that's a paladin or a barbarian or a fighter, like, it didn't matter to me, but I approached it first. Paladin's the first thing you kind of go to when you think of a protector.
Yeah.
So I approached Jen. I was like, hey, babe, for this upcoming campaign, what do you think about maybe being a Warforged paladin or a Warforged something that's a protector?
Mm-hmm.
Forgetting to tell her that the class that I'm being is not charismatic. The class that our other biggest player is playing isn't charismatic. And we weren't sure what the first player was playing till really today.
Yeah, your battery's
Okay. I'm going to let her talk more so for a second while I plug in.
Yeah, so first session, we're having our session 0 and, did all of our point buy-in and everything. Well, I went with the paladin and they're obviously charisma, and I went strength-based for weapon choices. And needless to say, we get at session 0 and our DM is like, oh, so you're going to be the speaker of the group. And I'm like, wait, what? Well, none of you guys are very perceptive, which is hysterical in itself.
Not anymore, though.
Not anymore. And then he's like, yeah, so when, you guys have to negotiate and talk and get information, you have to be the talker because you have the highest charisma. And I'm like, wait a minute. I went with a soldier background, emotionalist, really neutral, didn't care one way or another about anybody or anything if it didn't pertain to me or my goals. And it was kind of like, I have to be the charismatic one. Like, what?
Yeah, our first session for the campaign, or session 0, to kind of get a bearing on what house we're going to be aligned for in Eberron, and how we're going to manage things, the direction we're going. One of our players wasn't there.
Yeah.
So we have a Hobgoblin Wizards. Yeah. Obviously, hobgoblins are like larger goblins.
Yeah.
But he hasn't really described what his hobgoblin looks like yet. So still trying to get that mental image. We have Pi.
Yeah.
Who's our Warforged. And I'll let you go ahead and describe Pi because she is your character.
Yeah, she's like 6'2", almost 300 pounds because obviously she's made out of metal, was what we kind of went with, and kind of mismatched, metal, but a big bulky soldier. I was created in the intention of fighting, and that was all that I had done. So, to then be thrown under the bus by somebody
3 foot tall, nice big green beard, green man bun, like shaved sides with the green man bun top. Rock gnome.
Yeah.
Darker skin color, lots, and he's an artificer, so he's got like alchemist tools, and at the time I had alchemist tools, tinkering tools, and thieves tools. Now I also have a herbalism kit, leather working tools, and smithing tools.
Yeah.
So I have tools galore over me.
Yeah.
Little odds and ends trinkets.
Yeah.
And goggles on my head, bright green hair, 3 foot tall. So
yeah.
We've got
that
just between the two of us
paranoia over people stealing his things.
Yep.
Like obsessive paranoia.
We go to a new place, and before I do anything to help them, I check to make sure all of my shit is still with me.
Yeah.
But they'll sit there and they're like, "You're supposed to be the paranoid one, yet you're acting so calm here." I was like, "It doesn't involve my shit." So
yeah. Yeah. I'm good.
I'm good. My plans and my trinkets and my stuff is here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's been, for only having 2 sessions, it's been a lot of fun. Like, from a newbie perspective, it's been a lot of fun. It's definitely been a fast learning curve, though. Like, with the group that I'm playing with, I had to pick up pretty quick.
But I don't think that you don't have the assistance if you need it.
No, I haven't.
You can stop and say, "Hey."
Yeah. Why can't I do this?
Yeah.
You're only level 1.
Yeah.
But it said that I could do this.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to mention we're starting at level 1.
Yeah.
Which can be frustrating sometimes because you don't get everything. And our DM has adjusted stuff to be a little different than standard rules for our magicus and whatnot. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works. But I've also adjusted the artificer from base to work a little differently for our setting, and to work for the way that my character works. So I use a lot of trinkets that are a mix of tinkering or smithing and alchemical solutions. So like for my acid splash cantrip, instead of it being like a splash that's thrown in the direction of someone and it hits them, I have a little jar filled with about a half a dozen little trinket instruments that are wasps.
Yeah.
They basically have a hypodermic needle that they can pull fluid or release fluid, little wings shaped like wasps in this jar. There's about 6 of them. And underneath their platform, there's like a platform with holes in it. Underneath there, there's a caustic, greenish, acidic solution. So they basically, when I'm ready to cast my acidic splash spell, they pull out the fluid that they need. I open the jar, and I direct them as to who I want them to release their acid on.
Yeah.
And they basically go and spray acid from their needles at whoever I tell them to. Of course, acidic splash is a dex save, so it makes sense that whatever I'm sending them to is able to dodge out of the way of them releasing the acid on them. And then when they're done, they come back, they go back in the jar, I shut it up, and they draw more acid if they need to. So, but though that's my cantrips. What the idea on those is that they're kind of self-sustaining. They have enough power that they just function on their own. It's like a clockwork power that they shut down and turn on when they need. My other spells, like my Cure Wounds, which I have to use a spell slot, I have a battery type of thing. That's my energy reserve. That's kind of what we're considering my spell focus, like my arcane focus. I charge up for my Cure Wounds. I have this mechanical spider that's kind of like a tarantula type of spider that normally when I'm not using it, it rolls up into balls. So if you're looking through my stuff, you just see these little balls. I put the little ball to my energy supply. It charges it with 1 unit of charge for a first level spell slot. And then I direct it, I place it because Cure Wounds is a touch spell. So I place it on the person who I want to heal, and the spider kind of crawls across them and sprays like an adhesive type of component across wounds and whatnot that it's working on healing any injuries, which is how it works. So that's kind of, I've taken, she grimaces, but all of his trinkets that do stuff tend to be bugs. They're versions of bugs that he's created a trinket of.
I don't so much mind the concept of bugs.
It's
like,
the
I
spiders.
think it's the spiders. Why did the spiders have to be there? Like,
and the spiders happen to be the healing
the
things.
healing ones, yes. Yeah.
So, I think Renzelnick, our gnome, at some point in time in each of our sessions thus far, well, maybe not our first one, but thus far, I think he's going to drive everyone else crazy at some point. I think our DM absolutely loves him.
Yes. Yeah, I think he's really enjoying the eccentric nature.
Yeah, an eccentric gnome.
Yeah.
So, you've gotten 2 sessions to play D&D. What do you think of it?
I enjoy it a lot, actually, more than I thought that I would. I still feel very timid and unsure of what's allowed, what's not allowed, if I'm being, I don't know, too noobish asking some questions, but at the same time, if I don't, I'm never going to learn.
Yeah, well, and the thing about D&D is it's all kind of, it's as you go. It's not like Arkham Horror or Betrayal or Unstable. You have a set of rules, and the game plays out for the most part the same all the time. There's a lot of theater of the mind. There's a lot of choosing what you're going to do, and I think today you asked a question of like, well, aren't we working with these other people? Aren't we essentially working with them? It's more of like, we're all working towards the same ends, aren't we? Are we not? But the reality of the situation is there's several different houses fighting really to get the same information to be able to use it differently. And so we're almost more in that kind of that great race kind of scenario. Competing with agents of other houses to get the information first. And so I think in your head it was these people don't seem like a threat even though they're going after the same information. Where for like me and Todd it was these people are kind of a threat. They may cause a problem.
We don't know their intentions.
We don't know their intentions. They may cause a problem later. But what I've been finding in this particular campaign is that you have the stats for charisma. The person who's truly the face of our group is the crazy gnome. And so we'll be sitting there, and I'll be sitting back trying not to control where we go, and no one wants to make a decision. So what does the crazy gnome do?
Runs in head first.
For
Literally.
instance, we're standing outside of a bar in the slums of Sharn, just kind of staking it out, trying to watch for a Warforged. We have no clue what he looks like.
Yeah.
No one wants to enter, including our Warforged.
Because I didn't want to go in by myself. Like, I didn't know how to handle the situation. And they're like, go in by yourself. And I'm like, no.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm walking in. I'm just going to go in. I'm going to go up to the bar. And I'm going to order myself a Dwarven Spirit.
Yeah.
Exactly what I said.
And it went fine. And it went fine.
They didn't have any Dwarven Spirits or Dwarven Ales. But I got a wonderful drink nonetheless. And everyone's look at the table just kind of looked at me. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you're not the one who should be doing this shit. And I'm just like, if no one else is going to do it, I'm going to go in. I'm going to ask some questions. I'm going to make it work. We come back to the bar 2 days later. Well, you went the next day to make a presence by yourself.
Yeah.
We went back 2 days later. We walk in. And so the idea between Renselnick and Pi, because I don't think we covered this, is that we had talked initially about me having created Pi, but our DM was like, I don't like the idea of at being level 1 and you can create Warforged.
Yeah.
So we ended up settling with the DM on that during the war, because we're only 6 months after the morning event that happened in the war in Eberron.
Yeah.
So the war has just ended 6 months ago, and we're in the aftermath of the war, very recent aftermath of the war. So we decided that because of Renselnick's ability to tinker and his alchemical kind of ability, Renselnick saved Pi from dying. And so Pi owes him a life debt and has agreed to be his protector because he's a crazy little gnome who gets himself in trouble and is paranoid that someone's out to steal his blueprints and his trinkets.
Yeah. That
everyone else just looks at and thinks, you're a fucking nut, and why would anyone want to steal that shit?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I find it an absolute blast because we get to this bar, the other 3 of them have like no idea what to do. Renselnick walks right in, goes up to the bar, orders a drink. Pi's like, well, I guess I'm following the crazy gnome because I have to make sure he doesn't get in trouble.
Yeah.
Because Pi's become my babysitter.
Yeah.
Our ranger, Wood Elf Ranger, which we didn't get a whole lot of description of him either.
No.
Just that he's a Wood Elf Ranger. Goes in, sits at a booth away from us.
Yeah.
Our Hobgoblin Wizard comes in and sits at the bar on the other end of the bar away from us.
Yeah.
No one wants to sit by the crazy gnome besides the Warforged, who's his protector and has to make sure that he doesn't get his tiny self up into too much shit, because he will. I walk up to the bar. I have it, pull myself up onto a stool, order my drink that I found that I've liked at that bar, ask the bartender about this person who we're seeking.
Yeah.
I had gone in 2 days earlier and asked about him and been told that he comes here on Saturdays, or the equivalent of Saturdays.
Yeah.
Oh, he's upstairs already and is expecting guests. He's already got some people who are with him, and I think he has more coming. Do you know if there's more? It's like, I don't know. We were just told to meet him. Our other 2 players, Jen was like, "Oh, you're brilliant."
Yeah,
almost.
That was the idea that I had. Oh, he's here.
He's here, and he's expecting guests.
Yep.
He hasn't told the bartender who his guests are.
Yep.
Which means
go talk to him.
We're his guests.
Yeah.
Our other 2 players looked at me like I was a fucking nut and I was about to get ambushed and killed on my own. Granted, totally expected to get ambushed walking into the room.
Yeah.
I was like, I know this is most likely 99% a trap. But from where I'm sitting, we have absolutely no other option.
Yeah.
Absolutely no other option. So I'm like, okay, grab my drink, this is the best part, I think. And I had to clarify this afterwards. I, as Remselnik, took my drink, which was like a vodka-y, kind of like a Moscow Mule type of drink or similar to that. Took my drink, and I'm drinking it the whole time I'm going upstairs, the whole time I'm in the scene that I'm about to describe, and the whole time I come back down.
Yeah.
And before I walk out the door, I finish it, set the cup on the bar counter, and leave the bartender a tip. This whole time, and I find it absolutely amusing because our one player jokes about it, the fact that this 3-foot gentleman does more drinking than everyone else.
Yeah.
This 3-foot gnome is considered part of a dwarven clan as a clan crafter.
Yeah.
So he's grown up around dwarves and drinking with dwarves.
Yeah.
My constitution is my second highest stat.
Yeah.
So he can handle his alcohol.
Yeah.
Despite what people can think of him. So we go upstairs. We pass an elf and a human in the stairwell.
Yeah.
And this is a bar that has this technology or this magic that allows you to experience things like a brain dance in Cyberpunk. We go down to the room. She tries to listen in. We hear nothing. Opens up the door, and this Warforged we're looking for is tied up in the middle of the room.
Yep.
It's a trap.
Yeah.
It was a trap to begin with. We all knew it. But our ranger came up to the top of the stairs and just stood at the top of the stairs. Our wizard stayed at the bar.
Yep.
Open up the door. Warforged in the middle of the room. Hi, are you whatever his name was? Because I can't think of it right now.
Yeah.
It's a weird name. It's in my notebook. Pretty sure I spelled it wrong.
Yeah, it was
yeah. Kendall.
It wasn't Kendall.
I'm still calling Anonymous. I'm not a mouse.
Anonymous.
I'm not a mouse.
Not the mouse.
Are you a nutty mouse? Still calling him that.
Okay.
For now. Yes. Remselnik is very Russian accent. Or the best I can, because I often go to my French accent. Because I do the French accent much better. But now I'm what is it? What did Todd call me? A Russian-speaking Kermit.
Kermit, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
A Russian-accented Kermit.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with. But, so, we're sitting there. Okay, yes, it's this guy. He's in the middle of the room tied up. Didn't even think to ask why he's tied up right away. Do you need some help? Yeah. I walk in the room. Roll a saving throw. Charisma saving throw. There was a zone of truth set on the room. I succeeded. And once I walked in and got hit with magic, I didn't go right to untying him.
Yeah.
That was interesting. Oh, those two who just left did something to me. Should have thought to say, Pi, go tell one of the other two to follow them.
Yeah.
Should have.
Yeah.
But I was more focused on interrogation.
Yeah.
-1 to charisma, trying to interrogate. +4 to charisma.
5?
4.
No, 4.
You're at 18.
Yeah.
+4 to charisma. -1 to charisma. Only one who has a positive attribute in charisma in the whole party. The other 3 of us have -1. Our ranger, the only one who has a decent wisdom to have a decent perception. The rest of us, passive perceptions, 10 or 11. The gnome and the wizard, intelligent mother truckers.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need to investigate something or learn something, ask the gnome or the wizard.
Yeah.
Need to notice something, ask the ranger. Need to talk to someone, ask the gnome who's not very good at being charismatic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not the charismatic paladin Warforged.
I didn't know how to handle the situation.
So I walk in. I'm like, okay, I asked a few questions to get some information. About to untie him, and then I think, Pi, why don't you come in here and help intimidate them? Okay, shit, I have to make a saving throw.
Yeah.
Really not a big deal. Zone of truth just meant she can't tell any lies.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you have to tell the truth, per se. You can answer in ways that's still telling the truth without necessarily giving up.
Omitting facts is not lying.
Yes.
It's just omitting facts.
Yes. So, somehow, during this conversation, we basically convinced this Warforged that we'd help him if he gave us the information that was forced out of him by the elf and the human that had been in there before us.
Yeah.
So, normal-looking elf and human, followed by crazy-looking gnome and slightly obscure-looking Warforged.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we get the information. We get him out of the bar because he didn't want to stay there. And he wanted us to get him to the safe zone or help him out because he's afraid that the Lord of Blades is going to kill him.
Yeah.
And he can't stay in the city. Well, the place that we consider a safe zone is in the back room of my mentor's forge.
Yeah.
I'm not taking him there. We're not going to take him to the House Dennis enclave where we're all living.
Yeah.
Because we don't really trust him. So, no one has ideas of what to do. First thought was, bring him with us to the place where we're going to go to that he told us is where we need to go to next to find either a piece of an item that will help with recreating the morning or who knows what we're going to find.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to go anywhere near that because he feels like he's going to get killed if we go there. So, no one wants to come up with a solution.
Yeah.
So, who comes up with a solution? The Crazy Gnome. Crazy Gnome, I think, came up with a very good solution.
Yeah.
You don't want to be here. We don't want to put you up in one of our places because we don't want to draw attention. I'm going to take you to the train station and buy you a ticket out of here.
Yep.
You might not be that far away because it's only a 2-hour train ride. But it gets you out of the city. It's up to you then what you do.
Yeah.
You don't want to be here, but you don't want to
Yeah.
I didn't buy him a first class ticket. I bought him a standard ticket, standard seating. We dropped him off there. We knew the train station was more heavily guarded because our first session, part of the train track got blown up. So, drop him off at the train station. We know he's safe because there's guards.
Yep.
We can go on about our way.
Yep. Wave goodbye.
Then we go on to our next thing. Which, again, I don't like to necessarily run the campaign as a player. So I try to step back first and see if anyone comes up with ideas. Then when no one else wants to step up, it means the Crazy Gnome's going to take whatever crazy idea I've got plotted in my head.
Yep.
I know at one point in time, this one was like, someone else come up with an idea because we need to take the reins out of the Crazy Gnome's hand.
Yeah, I literally said that to the group. And what happened? We listened to the Crazy Gnome again.
Hey, I think I have great ideas.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, they were all fun ideas once they were played out. I thoroughly enjoyed them and all. But at the same time, as my character, I don't care what we do. Literally at this point, I don't care. yes, we all have an objective that we're working towards, but I don't care what we do. You know what I mean? Like,
I think I feel that where your character is currently in life, her life, is still in a soldier peon mentality.
Yeah.
Give me an order, put me to the work.
Yeah.
I'll do the job.
Yeah.
You though have your paranoias though that you can't necessarily trust the people who are getting jobs from.
Yes. Yeah.
Remselnick, oh, we're meeting a person. Okay, totally cool. Sit here. I'm going to make a little device to cause some white noise so it discombobulates what we say from people right around us.
Yeah.
That way, and it's coming. I feel like I've made this little trinket and everyone's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
I think it's come in handy a couple times.
Yeah.
It's a little device that I can pull out, start up. Doesn't make a whole lot of noise. It's basically a rock glass.
Yeah.
That has a device in it that tinks around.
Yeah.
It makes a little noise, which causes a little bit of disturbance in the general area, so we can have a conversation with someone.
Yeah.
Without necessarily having people
perfectly hearing. Yeah.
Yeah. They have to try harder to listen to what we're saying. It helps. But yeah, the guy who's our handler for House Dennis had been attempted to be killed twice, and we saved him the second time. And you're like, why the fuck did we save him?
Yeah. Why did we save him? How do we know that?
Because he's the one who's giving us the jobs and making sure our housing's paid for.
Doesn't matter.
Neutral doesn't give a shit.
It doesn't matter. Why did we waste our time to save him?
Good person.
How can we trust that he's not the one that's trying to get us killed? Just because somebody tried to kill him doesn't mean he's not trying to kill us. Like,
but who's to say? I think you think that the train fiasco was someone out to get us, but that's not necessarily true. We don't have any proof towards that.
No.
Though,
it's kind of
train fiasco.
Yeah.
About 30 minutes before we actually said it, the crazy gnome said, I think we're going to need to bail ship.
Yeah.
No, it's too soon to do that. What do we do about 30 minutes later?
Jump the train. Yeah.
Things are going to high heaven. We either go to the front of the train and find out what's going on and try to help, which probably means imminent death at level 1, or we get off the fucking train.
Yeah.
My vote, jump off the train. We look like criminals if we jump off the train. No, something's going wrong. The bridge up ahead is blown out. No one's responding in the engine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saving my bacon.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm putting piece to piece together. I'm getting the fuck out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
But yeah, in situations where he should be paranoid, he's like, hey, let's just walk in, and I'm going to go right up to this giant warforge, hop up on a stool and be like, you selling any dwarven shit here? No, we don't. We're down in the underbelly of the city. Like, no, we don't sell that shit here. Take your pompous ass somewhere else. And, like, where he should be paranoid, he's not. But if you look at his stuff too long, he's gonna go psycho bananas and be like, why you looking at my stuff? There's nothing here that's for you. I gotta count everything now because you looked at it for too long. Like, literally, and it's so funny.
Give me 1 hour. I gotta work on making something.
Yeah, give me 20 minutes to count all of my shit.
1 wasp wing, 2 wasp wings, 3 wasp wings. Who took my fucking wasp wing?
You threw one at somebody, remember?
Yes, that asshole in the bar.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's been fun.
I think that as we play more and as you get more comfortable role playing in this manner, I think Pi is going to take on more of a personality herself.
Yeah.
I think knowing you, as you get more comfortable, as you get into your role, as you understand the game more and what's okay and what's not okay, and as you get more comfortable just being like, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and do this, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way that I play is, this is what I think my character would do. This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I break games because of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our normal campaign, I am Aiden of the Black Fur. I'm a beautiful black tabaxi pirate who has the stickiest fingers ever. And I will go back to places that we have been at that have charged us way too much money and rob them blind.
Yeah.
And our DM for that campaign is always thrown off. I break his game every time I want to go steal shit. Yet he knows I'm going to go steal shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's what Aiden fucking does.
Yeah.
Like, he's just... Aiden's a fun character too. I like making characters who have personalities and who have flaws and who Remselnick's flaw is that he's more confident than he should be, I think.
Yeah.
He's this very squishy, small creature who's got confidence as big as the people he walks around with.
Yeah.
So he's the one who is like, okay, I'm just going to walk in. He knows he has a Warforged who's at his back who's supposed to protect him. So he's like, I'm just going to do this shit.
Yeah.
Aiden's problem is he's got sticky fingers. He can't not go steal shit.
Yeah.
Like, he just can't. It's his flaw. He wants to go get all the shinies.
Yeah.
One of the characters that I created, who I wish I got to explore more of, I only got to play a couple character sessions as her, was Willow Stormfur, another gnome of mine.
Yes.
No, I don't know why. I do like the idea of gnomes. Ironically, in person, I am 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah.
So... Yeah. Playing a character who's the size of my daughter.
Yeah.
3 foot tall, 40-some pounds.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's amusing. But I had a concept for a character whose name was Willow Stormfur. She was a wood gnome. What's the class? Blood Hunter. But the subclass of Blood Hunter that she was the lycanthrope.
Yeah.
Blood Hunter. So she was a lycanthrope. Her lycanthrope nature was a were badger.
Yeah.
The were badger was a male. So there was this inner turmoil. When the were badger came out, he was almost disgusted because he had feminine features.
Yeah.
Due to transforming in a female's body, he still had feminine features.
Yeah.
So it's this very gruff individual who's very old and as old as the planet and the plane, who didn't take shit.
Yeah.
When the werebadger, and I don't remember what I named him, came out, he was aggressive.
Yeah.
And primal and just tore into things. Willow was this wee little sweet gnome unless she was eating.
Yeah.
When she was eating, she would get a plate the size of everyone else and not use any utensils.
Yeah.
she would just go in at it like an animal. That was where the were side of her just kind of like she became almost merged with it to like feast on it. She'd get raw. She'd just eat raw meat, and everyone would be like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
But we only did like 2 or 3 sessions with her.
Yeah.
So she was a shame. Before her, I played a changeling warlock.
Yeah.
Whose last rendition of his form was Rusty, who was a human. Before he was Rusty, he was Nephilim, who was a very suave tiefling persona. And before that, I don't remember the name I gave for the elf version of him. He had a couple different versions that he went by. Every one of them maintained yellow eyes.
Yeah.
But his human form had red hair, which threw off the group because we had a changeling named Jack who we were hunting down, who every one of his versions had red hair.
Yeah.
So anyone with red hair they were creeped out at. But the idea was that when I told Ophelia that I wanted to be, because I had switched characters mid-game because the character that I was originally playing just wasn't working for that campaign. When I told her I wanted to be a changeling warlock, she told me I had to be the son of Jack, who had been one of our big bad guys of the campaign. I was totally okay with that.
Yeah.
So when I chose my human form, it's one of those things where I decided that the first thing that we learned from our father Jack was how to take a human persona.
Yeah.
And because we were learning from them, our human personas had red hair. So before Dex was the name of the actual changeling. Only Dex's patron as a warlock, and Dex's dad knew his true name. So it was one of those things where he felt that someone knowing his true name gave them power over him.
Mm.
So he didn't really let that be known. Then before Dex, I played Uriel, who was a ASMR Prism. The Prism class is a homebrewed class that you can get on the Dungeons Masters Guild, DM's Guild. It's a site that gives you some extra resources that Dungeon Masters have made themselves. Some of them are free, some of them you pay a little bit to support the people who created them. The Prism class is this really evolves around emotions and controlling emotions and positive and negative auras and such. So he read people's auras a lot of the time. He could read emotions and read people's emotions, and we had adjusted it because it was a homebrewed class. We adjusted some stuff on it, and once we got to a certain point in the campaign, we adjusted it a little too much that it kind of broke things at that point, which is why I switched from Uriel to Dex.
Oh, okay.
Who was my warlock. Uriel was retired and lived in the city and was getting to know his ASMR background a little more, because fun thing about Uriel was he didn't know that he was an ASMR. He was raised by human parents, made to believe he was human. Eventually he had this big prism grow out of his head, which was his focus, and he was fun. Before Uriel, then I played a character named Bayun, who was a Furbolg druid, Circle of Dreams druid. Furbolgs are kind of giantkin. They're kind of big, fuzzy, furry creatures. And so he had an acolyte background, but he is an acolyte of Titania.
I don't know what that means.
You don't know who Titania is? Oberon and Titania, King and Queen of the Fairies.
Oh.
Archfey from the Fey Wilds.
Yeah.
He was a acolyte of Titania. He didn't follow any of the normal religions. He followed an archfey. He wasn't a warlock. He was just a druid who was in tune with fey magics, who had spent time in the Feywilds and followed Queen Titania, who my DM allowed me to have as my spiritual token. Instead of having a spiritual token, I had a fairy companion.
Nice.
So, who for the first several sessions of that campaign, she had her own little bag she stayed in, and I would talk to my bag, and everyone thought I was crazy because I was talking to a bag.
That's awesome.
Till they found out that there was a fairy who lived in my bag. So, yeah. But she was she had the ability to go back and forth between the normal plane and the material plane and the fey plane, so that she could pass messages back to Titania for me. And then before that was my first character, Valendal Colholden, or Valen. Colholden is a Gaelic word for forest. He was a wood elf ranger who spent, 75 years secluded from everyone else.
Yeah.
He smelled really bad because he didn't take baths very often. Not charismatic at all, but very chaotic. I play a lot of chaotic neutral characters. I play chaotic neutral characters, I think, pretty well. Most people who play chaotic neutral characters play chaotic stupid characters.
Yeah.
But I think I do chaotic neutral well.
Yeah.
Remselnick is chaotic good. He tends to lean towards doing good things. He just does it in very crazy, chaotic ways.
Yes.
Val is still probably one of my favorite characters that I've played.
Yeah.
But he was my first character.
Yeah.
You kind of grow to love your first characters. And then you have another character who's waiting in the background.
Yeah, the Yuan-Tai.
Yeah.
Yuan-Tai,
Sorcerer.
Sorcerer.
Shadow Sorcerer?
Yeah, I think that's... Yeah.
I'm excited to see her get played.
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking forward to that, and then just so happened that your DM's schedule got changed, and we had to cancel, and bummed out. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that character plays out. So.
Yeah. Well, I think that's gonna wrap up this Thingz Talkz.
Yeah.
We've been going for a while. If you want to, if you're watching this on YouTube later, leave us some comments. Let us know. Let us know what you want to hear us talk about. I think the next time we play, we might talk maybe roles a little more.
Yeah.
I don't know yet. We'll probably talk something D&D. We will definitely keep you updated on the adventures of Remselnick and Pie.
Yes.
We'll let you know what's going on in the world of Remselnick and Pie.
Mm-hmm.
We will talk maybe a little bit more about Thingzy.
Yeah.
I know we didn't talk a whole lot about her, but we'll talk a little bit more about Thingzy. We'll figure out what else our main topics were, but we wanted to introduce you to our new characters a little bit. Yeah. I wanted an opportunity to talk to Jen about actually starting D&D.
Yeah.
We wanted to share some of our new dice and talk about dice a little bit. But if you go over to our Instagram, and if you want to post your dice on Instagram and show us what your dice look at, I think we're trying to do our dice collections as hashtag Thingz Dice. So yeah, hit hashtag Thingz Dice to show us your dice. Tell us about your characters. We'd love to hear what your characters are doing. We'll come up with a couple different some of our own hashtags for our channel. We will be working hopefully here. I think maybe by this summer, Jen and I may take some breaks, a little vacation from our normal jobs, so we can sit down and work on some other things. We do have planned to make a Patreon so that you guys be a little bit more a part of creating our stuff. We want to create maybe a little world within our channel as well, to add some characters to join Thingzy. So we're going to do some storytelling. Keep an eye out for more dice unboxings.
Yes, Thingz Dice with a Z.
Yes, always with a Z on our things. Come be one of our talkers with a Z.
Yeah.
Join us anytime we are on Twitch. We love having you guys join us, ask us questions, join in our conversation. Tell us what your characters are doing. Tell us about your favorite characters. Tell us about your favorite tabletop games. Recommend tabletop games for us to try out.
Yeah.
Recommend dice that you guys like. Check out Hero Forge. Even if you're making characters on Hero Forge, tag us to show us what you're making. Join us when we do our Let's Plays.
Yeah.
We do some Let's Plays. We may do some more Let's Chats as well, where we talk about character creation. I have been talking about doing some Let's Chats where I'm going to start reworking on my world development. I had done a D&D campaign that was kind of a little more steampunky, and I want to kind of go back to that and build that out a little more. So I may, and we've talked about eventually on this channel, this is long term, we may do some live play D&Ds.
Yeah.
Again, we want to give you guys stuff that you want to see.
Yeah.
So tell us what you want to see. I know that Jen's excited to bring some of her loves to our channel as well. I think she gets some makeup stuff, so she talked about doing her makeup openings and maybe doing some different makeuping tutorials eventually and stuff. I'm just a nerd with information. We have talked about both of us sometimes do some short story writing.
Yeah.
So we've talked about writing short stories and reading those for you guys here, sharing our short stories. We will eventually be doing a Discord channel. We do have a Facebook page as well as an Instagram and a Twitter. Our Facebook page is definitely a little bit more open, that we can potentially also create like a Facebook group off of that we can allow you guys to start sharing your content too. We want to support, if you guys stream, if you guys do things, we want to support you guys as well. So make sure you hit that like button. Follow us, subscribe to us. That helps us out the most.
Yeah.
We love you guys. Keep being crazy thing talkers and things. Crazy things, wild things.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Meta crazy things. Whatever you want to be. Be nerdy. Nerdy is cool.
Yeah.
Don't let anyone tell you to not be you. So, in the meantime, watch out for Thingzy. She's a terror. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.